We're back. Double coverage, double coverage, double coverage. Mama, we made it.
The network picked us up.
We're like established now.
We need the signs that says like clap, cheer, laugh.
J-Mac here, D-Mac to the right. Welcome to double coverage. Mama, we made it.
What's up, everybody? A different look here. Dev's not used to the beautiful scenery. He's probably hot.
It's okay. It's okay.
The sun is shining on his back, but it's another episode of double coverage with the McCourty twins. We're here in sunny South Florida. It is bye week for both of our teams. Of course, I've been on a bye week for a while, but before we get too much into the show, as you guys know, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all you got to do, iTunes, all of that stuff, all you got to do is search double coverage with the McCourty twins. You can always find us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at McCourty twins. Devin, welcome to South Florida.
It's all right. I mean, this time of the year, it's supposed to be cold. It's supposed to be like tough football games that we played in last week. Like, that's the feeling for me in December. So I feel awkward. I feel out of place. But I'm not going to lie, getting off the plane and not having to put my hoodie back on was different. When I left this morning, there was snow on the ground.
It's snowing?
I got here, it was palm trees.
It's funny, being down here, I don't even...
Yes, I know. I text Jay before we played, maybe it was Tennessee. I was texting him, I was like, man, it's about to be cold today. He was like, oh yeah, man, since I've been down here, I forget it's cold other places.
I don't even think about it. I don't... It's quite a feeling when you wake up and you don't check the forecast. You just know, like, I'm putting on
Sounds
T-shirts
boring.
and shorts. And then now, for me now, I only got to pick out one shoe. So one sock, you know what I mean?
That's versatility.
Yeah, like, you don't have to wash socks as often because you wear a left one. And then now the right one has just become the left one because I don't need one on the boot foot.
I don't want that struggle, though.
Hey, man, nobody really wants it. But, I mean, since you're here, why don't we dive a little bit into, a few days ago, you just played a Monday night game, and you guys won. I think Matthew Judon said it best. He gave a big shout-out to the offense after the game. He even went and started naming the position groups and the guys, and he let us know everybody except Mac because all he did was hand the ball off. You guys threw 3 passes and won the game. What does that take?
For one, Jew is hating on Mac because Mac had to get us in the right calls. You know, alert, alert, alert. You know what that means. Change. Do we run left? Do we run right? I mean, that's what it came down to. It felt like Monday night. But it was funny sitting on the bench. You know, Jonnu makes that crazy catch, kind of tips it to himself.
We all remember it because it was that and a screen pass. Those were the only 2 complaints.
And we're sitting like midway through the third quarter, and I look at AP, and I'm like, was that the only pass we've thrown so far tonight? Am I tripping? And he was like, nah, that's the only pass. So I said it after the game. I think New England is a place, and it's been fun watching the man in the arena with Tom because you see it. Like those guys built something that was bigger than individuals. Like, I remember playing here for years when I first got here and how important it was, Pro Bowls and all pros. And, like, our best player used to always talk about that stuff meant absolutely nothing. It came down to winning championships. And I thought that's what you felt Monday night. It was kind of the whole team had bought in to we're going in a hostile environment. We go out there in pregame, and everybody got their ski masks on. You got the hoods, hats. And you go out there, and you like, oh, it's not that bad. And you step on the field, and the wind and the snow was going. It was like...
Talk about that, because I think a lot of people, obviously from a fan's perspective, you go to the stadium, you get there, it's cold, you're bundled up. But talk about that from the psyche and the perspective of a player, because I remember playing a game in New England my rookie year where we get there the day before, it's cold, but it's normal cold.
Bad.
And then we go to warm up
that game too.
To warm up before the game. And when you go warm up, this is before pregame, you usually have on your hoodie if it's cold, but shorts and T-shirts is the attire. And we went out there, and it was a downpour, like just raining, almost hail. We go back in, dry up, get changed, put our equipment on, go out there for pregame, and it's just a straight snowfall, big flakes coming down. So talk about what that's like, the psyche of a player. You go out there, you know it's going to be cold, but then you go out there and you see the elements. I'm sure everybody saw Dave Andrews, the starting center. He's out there sleeveless, walking the field in his T-shirt.
Yeah, he's a little nutty for that. Nutty.
How is that like getting ready for a game?
Well, I would say, one, never listen. Jay Mills always goes out first. Never listen when Jay Mills comes in, because Jay Mills always comes in like, bro, it's cold out there. So, but then when you go out, you want to go out for those reasons, to see what it's actually like. You see the pictures, you see the videos on social media, but you want to go feel it. And I would say the tough thing is how it was in pregame wasn't exactly how it was in kickoff, and then how it was in the first half wasn't exactly how it was in the second half. So those are all the things you got to monitor. Our coaches did a great job. A lot of our specialists and special teams guys met before the game to talk about the wins because it affects the kicking game first. And we just kept talking about it throughout the game. Who had the win was a win. So I think just the way all of the players just bought into what was going on in the game felt good. And I think that people saw after the game, Bill said that's why we practice in this.
That was my next question. If you had to say, we're just going to make up a number. We're going to say in the past 11 seasons, in your 12th now, say you've had 10,000 practices. If it was elements like that, say elements like that occurred 700 times out of those 10,000, how often would you have been in those elements versus going inside on the bubble? 700 opportunities.
Honestly, I think you could count a couple times we played Miami, end of the season. We would go inside, but we would only go inside maybe 1, maybe 2 days, sometimes 3 days. But when we did go inside, he would pump extra heat into the bubble, so that was worse. And then other than that, we only had one lightning, and then call it a handful of times the fields were frozen, so we had to go inside. But other than that, I mean, I remember in 2013 playoff bye, we had the bye week. We're outside. It's a snowstorm. Like the snow's coming down. And I would say big props to our ground crew because there's been times that we've had huge snowstorms and we're like, we're going inside. And we get there and the fields are totally plowed, covered, ready for practice. But I would say it did pay off because I don't think we've actually practiced in like wins that strong this year. But I would say the mentality of whatever it is because you're 3 years there.
Whatever it is out there, get your because we're in it.
And that was how everyone entered that game Monday night. And I think it paid off for us. Not pretty, not the way I think a lot of people picture Monday night.
Yeah.
2 of the top teams in the division. But I think it was a very entertaining dogfight because it took coaching, playing. It was everything
coming together.
That went into
and to me, that's been the crazy thing of going from Tennessee 8 years, Cleveland to New England, kind of in the cold, in the elements. And then coming down here is a whole nother element. Yeah. Like, it's not just coming down here that you can't practice the same way in the heat as you do other places. So it's all of that kind of mixtures into one. And it's the things that a head coach and strength coach and trainers that have to come together and figure that stuff out.
And I will end it with this. Bill always says this, though. At the end of the day, we're not playing against the conditions. We're playing against an opponent, and we need to execute. And that's what it ultimately comes down to.
No doubt about it. And when you speak about execution, obviously, not really sticking on the game, but Buffalo didn't execute the way they wanted to versus the run game. Fast forward, post-game, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer getting interviewed. And I'll share my thoughts on it because I understood where they were coming from. And I'm not going to say the reporter was to blame because the reporter has a job to do. And, like, of course, if a team rushes for 250 yards or whatever it was, Damian had, like, 10 yards of carry. Like, yeah, I am trying to provoke an answer and see, like, because, hey, I'm watching it. It looks embarrassing. The team threw 3 passes, completed 2. So I understand the line of questioning. But as a player, I saw Micah Hyde said today, or maybe Monday, whenever he said it, he was just like, yeah, I am a sore loser. And I respect that too. We just finished the game and we are disappointed. We might be a little embarrassed. Am I going to stand on this stage and explain my embarrassment to you? No, maybe not. But I understood where they were coming from. So it's just like, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I also think, I know, like you said, in Tennessee, the questions you got asked from your beat reporters, the environment was totally different than when you got to Boston, the New England area.
To even speak to that, when I went back to Tennessee when we played them, or as I was leaving, like my media people came up to me and was like, man, I appreciate you over the last 8 years. Like, those were some tough interviews. And you don't even know that experience of having to get up there after loss after loss after loss and being able to present. But
I think in New England, we get used to that. I think about I had a tough year back in 2011. Every time I did an interview, I felt like some questions were disrespectful, but I also knew the way I would respond would be what everyone took from it. Like, oh, he is doing better. You know, prime example.
To that nature, remember, you guys go to the Super Bowl in 11, a beat reporter reached out to me to write an article about how bad we were playing, that I was going to be the feature in the story.
We played Dallas. I don't even remember who we played next. Maybe we played the Jets again. But we're getting ready. Now, we passed Dallas. We're on to Wednesday or Thursday of the next week. Wednesday is when I do my interviews. And they're like, what's the plan? You guys were so bad last week against Dallas. You gave up 465 yards. Straight like that. But I think I've become accustomed to it because it's one of those markets where they're trying to get you going. We talked about it after the game. We're like, we kind of play in a market, the Boston, New England area, Philadelphia, New York. Some of these markets, it's almost like when everything's going well, they write good stories. But it's like everyone's like, all right, we got to wait. There's going to be something that happens. Like,
there's always that one reporter.
I'm sure everyone after the game was like, oh, we can't wait to get Nikhil and ask Nikhil about the punt. I just, you know what I mean? I just feel like, and I know they're doing their job, but I feel like depending on where you're at, the mentality of the questions and how, I don't know how it is in Buffalo. I've never played for Buffalo. But I think there are some markets where the relationship with the beat reporters and the players, it's more friendly. It's like, all right, we're getting to know the team. We're writing good stories.
But there's always that one male or female, but we're all human. As a player,
I agree
you
with
feel
you.
some type of way, I'm going at your neck, and I'm okay with that.
After the Dallas game, they asked me, they was like, you seem really down. I was like, we just lost. We lost a game. I felt like, we had 3rd and 25. I felt good about the situation, and we lost. I'm disappointed. I'm crushed right now.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And players speaking up, saying things that they feel. Our guy Trevor Lawrence, rookie, #1 pick, comes in, says, "Hey, my running back, we need to have him on the field. I don't care what he's going through. Like it's been good. He's one of our best players. He needs to be out there."
I like it. I just like the quarterback stepping up now publicly. I never think things need to be said publicly.
So you don't like it? It's one or the other.
I don't like it publicly, but I like the fact that he would go to the coach. I think if he went to the coach and said that and his players, because I think for a quarterback, you get blamed and you get rewarded for almost everything that happens within a season.
Yeah.
So you need to be proactive in what you like, what you don't like. If you want Robinson on the field, I think you should go to Urban Meyer. And
do players have that power?
You can always say something. Will the coach always listen? That's not always going to happen. Bill always says, I'm down to hear anything, but ultimately I'm going to do what I think is best for the team. And I think that's right because that's why they hired you to be the head coach. They didn't hire the quarterback or the safety, the linebacker. They didn't hire those guys to be the head coach. They hired you to be the head coach. Yeah. So if you make me a head coach somewhere, I'm going to listen to my players. I think players, Bill says it all the time too, players are the ones who play the game, and they are the ones who have to handle things. But ultimately, I got to do my head coaching duties. So I'm going to decide.
I'm okay with him saying it in the media. I like it because I feel like at the same time, sometimes when things are addressed that way, it's on record. When he goes to the coach and he tells him it may happen, it may not happen, but when I say, hey, he needs to be on the field because
he's going to be out there next
within an organization, it's totem poles. Player, but then above the player, you got your position coach, but then you got your coordinator, then you got your head coach. But hey, the head coach has a general manager, a team president, ownership. Yeah. So it's just like, once I say this in the media, everybody on that totem pole knows where I stand and how I feel about my running back. So if he's not out there and we're not winning, it's just like, hey, coaches and players have that power, especially at Trevor Lawrence, because, hey, coaches are hired and fired over that position. That's how you develop it, who you draft, the whole nine. So somewhere along the line, somebody told him, like, hey, man, you got the juice. And he's going to use it. So I definitely appreciate it.
If they want to, they can sit him in a couple weeks when we play him. I won't be mad at that. I'm just saying. Just saying out there. I don't like this. We got Russell Wilson on the move. No trade clause here. He'll go Giants, Broncos.
But who knows this?
We're in season. So even if you got this report, make it make sense. Say this happened before this, but
he's on the move though.
He most likely, but I feel like when you read this report, it's like, oh man, yeah. Now Russell Wilson has to answer all these questions about not wanting to play again this year for Seattle. The man just came back from finger. From what I've seen from the guy, he's probably out there busting his butt to be out there being the best quarterback he can. I just hate seeing these reports. They're gonna have plenty of time
to address that
come February. After the last game of the season. Whenever Seattle plays their last game, they're gonna have so much time to talk about.
But man, what an opportunity when he gets asked.
So now every time the Giants play,
he can kind of just throw the breadcrumbs out and just let it fizzle in. Like, hey man,
who knows where I'm going to be next year. When you throw one of those, who knows, but I'm just focused on the next game. But when you say who knows, hey, I'm not going to be here. So, hey, it's an opportunity.
Ciara could go hang out in New York City, then go to New Orleans. She could have us all guessing.
Why not?
I mean, I get it, but let the man play football.
So, this past week, the Lions win the game. Last play of the game.
Crazy.
You're a defensive back. You're in that high red zone area.
Fringe to high red.
What goes on there? Like, because the fan at home is sitting there like, how do they give up a touchdown pass? They just let them walk in the end zone. What, as a defense, what kind of call are you making? And then how is it supposed to be executed?
I just think it's interesting because a lot of that stuff.
Before you start, compare that to Monday night, last play of the game. Ball almost, theirs was a little further in Minnesota, but almost kind of in the same area. Two totally different approaches from the defense.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that should already be known, kind of as a defense. I think I would imagine.
You know what he's going to call.
I would imagine Minnesota has practiced that, and they knew the call. And I would say for us, no matter what call we're in, we know the weakness of the defense, and we know where the ball's probably going to go. So I'll be like we had a call kind of like Minnesota was in. Like we have something similar to that.
Which all defenses, we
exactly.
all the same.
And I think the play they ran was the exact play that we kind of all think about of, a guy running through there and then another guy following in there to catch the end cut. So and I think for us, at the end of our game, we knew the call. Steve makes the call. We all were ready. We literally practiced that on Friday.
Yeah.
Like, that was on Friday. That was the Friday before. That was the Friday before.
Yeah.
Like, that situation, whether it's the 17-yard line, the 20, the 23, the 15.
That fourth and long.
We've done that before, and I think that's what it really comes down to. It's the biggest play of the game. Bill says that all the time.
You played good for 59 minutes and 45 or 50 seconds. Now there's 10 seconds left. But I think one of the key things you said is the guys on the field know what call is coming. So it's not like you're sitting in there. You guys put pressure on Josh Allen in the last play of the game, but it's not like the guys in there, the DBs are in there like, what? We about to go after him?
Yeah.
It's just like, yo, here it comes. And watching that Minnesota and the Lions game, the one thing, whether you're going after them or you're not, the thing we always talk about as DBs is you got to undercut them at the goal line. So it's just like, especially as a cornerback, you want to be outside of that end zone and you don't want to back up in the end zone. And it's tough sometimes when you're in zone for that safety. You don't want that guy to get in behind you. So feeling out that route for both of those guys is, hey, let the route take you into the end zone. And that was kind of the mistake they made, because you look at that as a defender, you're like, hey, if you give us that situation, we're good. Like,
we'll
one
make
play
it
to go, like, we'll make it happen. We'll walk away with the win. But
that was like our Dallas game.
That's how close it is. You guys make the play Monday night. Miles Bryant knocks the ball down.
Shout out IT.
And then here and with Detroit, they make the pass. Goff makes the pass. They scored a touchdown. Lions are running around like crazy.
Shout out to Lions. First win.
It's big. I mean, when the year I spent in Cleveland, I would have died. I would have died for a first win anywhere from week 1 all the way to week 17. We would have celebrated like a mug.
All right, let's not go back. Let's get into
the
group chat.
Let's get into the group chat.
Hey man, let's give a big shout out all the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominees. My guy, Larry Guy for the New England Patriots.
Jerome Baker.
Awesome award. I think the way they do it now too, it almost turns into a competition of guys just doing more and more in the community. Not that they're trying to get the award, but guys, I think they like it. They like how the NFL rolls out the Walter Payton. Different companies getting involved, nationwide.
I'm just happy New England didn't nominate you again. You've been nominated 18 times. It's like,
still out here, man.
You're still doing great work in the community.
It's great. It just shows that I'm still out here. Longevity.
I respect that. I respect that. Yeah. Shout out to all the Walter Payton. Now I got to go on Twitter and see all of the retweet between that and the Pro Bowl. Everybody's just asking for retweets. So if you guys are watching, you see it, retweet somebody, your favorite player, your favorite team. Last name Big, Jerome Baker. Vote him. Lawrence Guy. He's a friend too, so vote him as well.
And let's get into it. The college playoffs is set. Big shout out Cincinnati, repping the old Big East. When we were in school, we were in the Big East, so we played against Cincinnati.
Should they be there?
Yeah, they should be there.
Okay.
I mean, there's no reason that they're not there. And I think we needed this. We needed things to
We
kind of
need
play.
them to perform.
That's what I
like to disagree with you, but the fact that we went to the same school, the old Big East, Rutgers, Cincinnati, I just can't go against the smaller school getting a chance to because we watch you. Matter of fact, Shaquem Griffin, he was on our team earlier. We talked about it. We have him. We got Tua there, and so you got guys, and they literally got rings, and they called themselves national champs. And to listen to Tua's laughter when he said it, how hard he legit laughed at, like, you got to be out of your mind to think you were really a national champ. But I feel like this gives the opportunity
gives them a
for
chance.
those teams. But it also, to me, challenges those teams where it's tough, though, because some of those scheduling things are done so far in advance.
Yeah.
For a coach, you don't know for
If
sure
you knew
that
you
this
had
is
this team, you would schedule it differently.
And then at the same time, some of those big schools, like, why
You don't want to play
why do I
Cincinnati.
wanna play them? Like,
When I came out, we talked about Brian Kelly last week. When I came out, I trained with Marty Gilliard, with Ricardo, with my guy AD. They played for Cincinnati. They were so mad that Brian Kelly left because they played the Tim Tebow, Brandon Spike. They played that Florida Gators
got
team.
whooped, right?
Smacked.
So they cannot
But they
do that
said
this time.
if Brian Kelly doesn't leave, they beat Florida. I looked at them and told them they were crazy.
Unless he's taking the ball from under center and he's making passes and he's stepping foot on the field. Now, coaching, you need coaching. Don't get me wrong. But they got whooped. It wasn't like a close game.
Again, college football, it's great. Playoffs. Alabama will probably be national champions again.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Roll Tide.
And I think, though, that's even clutch, too. When we were in the Big East, we didn't have, like, a Big East championship game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was
that's
just
true.
like whoever had the best record out of the Big
Yeah.
East was the Big East
We
champ.
could have used that in
You
06.
could have used it. You know what I mean? The notoriety it brings, the fact that, we actually have a champion. It looks better.
Yeah,
But we
that
didn't.
is true.
So it's just like, why didn't we? You know what I mean?
Because Cincinnati, to that point, they had their conference
Yes.
championship game. They
Yes.
won it. It was like another step.
Even
So,
Alabama, not to say that they weren't going to be in it, but just now you playing the SEC championship, you beat
the
the
number one team in the country.
Like, how are you not going to be in it? You know what I mean? So, like, those championship games are huge. So, whoever was responsible for destroying the Big East, man, bring it back.
Should we bring up your nomination? How do you feel about this?
I feel great. I mean, Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award, the Miami Dolphins nominated me. So, humbled. I think anytime you're selected amongst your peers in whatever category, I think it's huge when it has to do with things outside of the field. Obviously, we all want to be recognized for the performance we do on the field, but that coinciding with what you do off the field, I feel like we all grew up with a dream saying like, hey, you know what, I want to make it to the pros. So you're going to put everything you have into excelling and becoming a better player. And I think to see so many guys, once they enter, realize that, man, without my community and the people that are still back home, I wouldn't have been able to get here. Learn that from you, the work you've continued to do. So just trying to always do the right thing in that arena.
What has been your attitude since being hurt? I know we talked about this when you first talked about the injury, but now Miami 5-game win streak.
Since I got hurt, they started winning.
What role have you been able to still have with the team, with the guys? I know you posted Javon Holland making a nice play last week. What kind of role have you been able to have?
Man, I'm one of those guys. I love the game. Like, I love football, and it's tough when you can't still be in it. Like, there's no point in me being in every single meeting. You know what I mean? But the fact that I get to go there, I'll go there and just hang out in the locker room and get kind of like brought up to speed on everything that's transpired. What happened at practice, this, that, and the third. I'm texting the guys before every game. I have posted a video of me riding passenger seat, dropping the kids off, and we was turned up in the car. And Nick Needham had texted me or commented about, like, you giving him the pregame speech, getting ready for school. And we laughed because it was just like, that was my job on game day. So I was like, I got to give that energy to somebody else. But I go to our home games. I'm always talking to the guys. Like you said, my guy, Vaughn, Jay Holland. Just being able to watch those guys and talk to them, shoot them a text before the game or hit them up about something I saw is just, it's awesome because, like we talked about earlier, when you're on IR, like you're kind of away from the team. When you do your rehab, is when they're out to practice, when they're in meetings, because there's no point for you to be in there while the guys that are playing are getting treatment and doing those things. So you got to find your time to get in there and be able to still be around the guys. So I definitely miss it.
Shout out to NFL, man. I think all these awards are great. It highlights what guys do, and it highlights who people are. We're not just football players,
Yes.
not just athletes. You get to honestly see what makes up a man, and we have some great men in our league. So I love all of this. And another shout out to NFL salary cap going up 208.
Hey, I could have used that this past year.
A lot of people got crunched
Man.
down because of COVID, not just in the NFL.
I was just talking.
around the
I
world.
was just talking to one of our new guys on the team, Will Park, safety, and we were talking about just free agency last year of how crazy it was. I was like, I almost was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go hang them up, just because, like you just said, everybody felt that. Organizations, players, people all over the world felt the impact of COVID. So it's good to see the salary cap go back.
So what you saying? Now that it's going up, you're not hanging them up?
Oh, them things. Like you say, hanging them up, like one of them cleats is already up.
No,
there.
we ain't talking about
The
that. We
back foot,
gonna wait for you to get healthy. Then we'll talk about that, man.
Hey, but our past game, like let's just talk about this. We beat the Giants. Our guy, friend of the show, fellow Scarlet Knight alumni, Logan Ryan, gets interviewed and he says, and I don't know if maybe he was addressing his quarterback play because of their quarterback play. Daniel Jones hurt. Mike Glennon was out there. Obviously, you saw us. We got it done a little bit. So maybe
Dub City.
Maybe he's just trying to promote himself. You know, you guys, I've heard 5-game winning streak, all that stuff. But Lowe goes and gets interviewed and he says he can be an emergency quarterback. He feels like he can get it done. He can be just like Tua.
He is lefty.
And throw 2-yard passes to the left. My guy, Devontae Parker, took to social media, told him, hold that L, big fella. They had a long West Coast trip. They had to go to Arizona after they played us. And Giants, friendly team. Obviously, Joe Judge is there, so you don't want to speak down. But Logan Ryan, that just didn't make sense to me. If it's only 2-yard passes to the left, why they didn't hold us scoreless?
It's like when you were on Tennessee and y'all got mad because Cam was.
Oh, I wasn't playing that game.
And the
I
end zone-
was so mad at my guys. Like, don't do that. Now you're gonna be on Sports
Cam
Center.
said, if you don't like it, don't let me score. And that's what it comes down to. Listen, I love my guy Logue, and I always think no bad publicity, any publicity is good publicity. And he got some. He talked about being lefty. He was a 4-star recruit, played quarterback in high school. So maybe he is trying to dabble in to see what he got left in that little lefty arms. Probably trash, but it is what it is. Like we talked about, same thing we talked about with Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, frustration after the game.
No doubt.
You asked a question.
No doubt.
You're not happy you lost.
Hey, now's the opportunity. We saw what Mike Glennon had last week. They're getting Jake Fromm ready to possibly play this week.
Do they play Arizona or did they just travel?
No, I think they played him. I'm not sure. I don't really pay attention to the schedule. But Fromm just got there. He said it feels like you're studying for the final exam when you haven't been in class all year.
It's gonna be tough.
If there's ever a time he needs to go have a meeting with Joe Judge and tell him he wants to get in there.
I'm about to send him
throw the 2-yard passes.
I'm about to
the
send
left.
him the Book of Esther. Maybe he was made for a time like this. Go out there, throw that thing around, lefty, get it going. Oh, I saw this too. Aaron Rodgers said doesn't regret it. He was quoted saying, "I still own the Bears." He said, and when you look at the record, he said the record speaks for itself. A-Rod's one of the baddest men.
Have you felt that way about any of the teams in the division?
No, I'm not that level. Tom, I know Tom feels that way about something.
You're not
Tom
discounting
probably
double
feels
check.
that way against Atlanta. He's never lost to Atlanta.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it is what it is. When you one of the baddest men on the planet, you can say Steph Curry can go the way Steph Curry's playing. I think he's like 5 or 6 more threes short of passing Ray Allen. Way less game. I mean, if he went out there and said, "Hey, I own this team,"
I own the 3-point line.
You could get mad, but I'm sure the next time he got out there on the floor, he gonna hit 7 or 8 threes. So I mean, it is what it is. Like we just said, if the Bears don't like it, go out there and beat Aaron Rodgers. Then you could talk. You could talk breezy because now this is the second time they're playing. Ain't no more playing again this year. So
now you're a Patriot legend. Well, we won't even go there. You're a true Patriot. You guys believe in special teams. Kickers are getting paid. Dan Carlson, $18.4 million.
Dollars. I think it's great for my man Nick Folk. I mean, have you seen a kicker perform better than Nick Folk's been performing? I mean, he was out there kicking in that. in that thing that they call weather Monday night, and he was up there lining it up. When he lined up, he gave that little boop.
Kickers, practice habits, grinders out there going with like what you got for. You see the work being put in, those guys?
They be on the other field. Like sometimes they be on the game field. We showed one of Nick's kicks and they showed the flags and stuff. And I looked at June. I said about June and squad meeting where I looked at June. Better him than me. I don't want to have to take that field and kick.
But during meetings, where are they at? Most of the time.
Ours, meeting with Cam, meeting.
At times,
In New England.
a lot of times you see them in the locker room hitting the
Yeah,
putt,
I mean, what you want them to do?
playing some FIFA.
Watch offense and defense, and they're not getting paid. Like the quarterback, what he got? He got 4 years, 18.4. Quarterbacks.
I'm not. But if
That's
I
half
don't,
a season
I don't
for
want to
some
be the kicker. Let me be the punter.
I agree with you.
Let me be the punter.
I think
don't want
kickers-
to. Somebody else do the game.
And you know why kickers are getting paid more? Because teams have
They're
felt the
losing.
wrath of not having a good
They done
kicker.
moved the extra point back.
Yep.
I mean, the game y'all just played, Buffalo misses that kick. It was
Yep.
crucial, and it was
Yep.
about
And
an
Nick
extra
had
point.
just made a kick on going that way. I mean, kickers are so
When
vital
you
to the
guys
game.
when you guys went for 2 on the first touchdown, was that kicking into where it was the windiest
Yeah,
part?
and
of
I
it?
think Nick was like, "This not gonna be good. Let's just go for 2."
The intricacies of the game was just, man. We're
I
watching,
found that out after
I'm
the game.
watching. I'm like, they going for 2 this early, and then it was just like the
And
next
then
time
he was
somebody
playing the
kicked,
game.
and it was just like, yo, they was probably and watching on TV. You can't always tell what side,
Yeah.
what end. It was just like they're probably in the windier part, and
That's
the
what
kicks
it
that you guys
Going to
did
the
make
close end.
was probably the one that was on the other end, or the wind maybe just died
he
down.
did kick one in there
Eventually.
around the same time, but
Yeah.
I mean, it was a difference of being up 4 and up 3.
No doubt about
Big
it.
difference.
Huge.
Oh, here we go. Damian Lillard. Do we think he gets moved at the trade deadline?
Yes.
This has been talked
CJ
about.
McCullough's
so
up
much.
injured. He's going through something that they're trying to figure out. But I just was reading an article about like it just hasn't worked. Yeah. It's just like you have to move somebody, and they're gonna get the most for Dame. And I know he's been Portland loyal to a T.
But there comes a time in every
and I'm gonna
man's
be happy
journey.
because he ends up somewhere that possibly may get that championship.
In every man's journey, sometimes you got to go a different path. So
We'll see.
Dame, wherever you end up, hopefully it's somewhere close we can see you play.
No doubt. And y'all make sure you keep watching me on social media. The school
What is
drop
coming
off,
next?
The
What's coming
school
next?
drop off chronicles. Today, we listened to a little bit of DMX rendition of Rudolph.
So, Red,
Yeah.
you recorded it?
Yep. The kids don't know the words just yet. We still working. My youngest
I
guy,
think you should put- I
the
think you
ad libs is what's gonna be clustered. Come on,
I think you should play it and then each week show us
the progression.
I think that'd be
That's
awesome.
a thought. But y'all stay tuned. The School Drop Off Chronicles. We're gonna be coming.
gotta get a name
We're gonna be
for it.
coming with the heat every other week. You don't want to just bombard y'all timeline, but
We got to get a name for this.
yeah. Send in some.
That's smart. I like that.
That's what I do.
Let's get into our favorite part of the show, the Dan O'Brien
Keeping it awesome
moment of the week.
What you got?
We got Dan Campbell.
Oh, much deserved.
Dedicating the Lions' first win to Oxford, Michigan community following the terrible, tragic school shooting. Dan Campbell has always been talked about. He's cried up there. He's talked about biting kneecaps. But I think this shows what he's about. And I think to win a game, he could have dedicated to the hard work, first win, and all of that.
No doubt about
But he
it.
thought about a community, and he thought about their community that they play in, fans that probably looked at that game and got
A way
uplifted.
to get away for
Yes.
a little while. You got to go back to the reality, but to be able to maybe attend or turn that game on and see your Lions get their first win, maybe
and then
as-
to think about you after they get the win.
yeah, it's maybe even that little bit of a sign sometimes we're all looking for in moments of adversity of that, hey, we can overcome it.
Exactly.
And obviously the Lions have struggled this season and, man, had a tie the game versus Steelers, and now to be able to overcome some adversity that they're going through. Obviously a very small microcosm of what life and what the Oxford, Michigan community is going through, but sometimes those small things and those analogies on the outside can trigger something to get somebody going. So continued prayers for that community and everything that they've had to endure over the last several weeks. So definitely.
Prayers up. Who do you have? Who won the weekend?
Won the weekend. That is easy. Pat McAfee. A lot of people. Now, do you remember this guy? We played against him at West Virginia. I played him. I was in the division with him when I was in Tennessee. He was in Indy. This guy retired at the prime of his career, and like. It's not
Still
like,
was a good player.
And it's not like you say, oh, Pat McAfee, oh, he was just a puncher. Because this guy, he did kickoffs. He was extremely good on the surprise onside case. Like, Pat McAfee was a weapon for the Indianapolis Colts. So it wasn't as if he was just any old puncher. He was one of the best punchers in the NFL while he was playing. So when he retired, like, everybody was just like, yo, what's going on? He was doing stand-up comedy. I remember him. He was, one night in Indy, they say he was walking across a pond or something, had one too many. And he was a fun guy to play against because he had a ton of energy. He would be trash talking out there. And you said it's bigger than just football, who we are as people. This guy has left the game and has been in the media, and he just signed a deal with FanDuel that's going to pay $30 million a year. All the details haven't just come out yet. By the time you guys see this, it probably will. But they say he's already said he's donating $10 million of it to charities from his hometown to places in Indianapolis, different places.
Oh, that's awesome.
Awesome.
Only heard great things about him.
Man.
And who lost the weekend? No one. Bye week, sun behind us, hanging out. We haven't been able to hang out since, July, before the season started. So we got nothing but positive vibes. If you got any negative energy, send it that way. 5-game winning streak over here for the Dolphins. 7-game winning streak for the Patriots. It's just all positive vibes. I wish my wife got all those corny t-shirts, and I think she got one that says positive vibes. I wish I could have told her to wear it today. We could have propped her right there, propped her in, propped her right back out, and you would have saw the positive vibes running through here.
We'll see how long those positive vibes. He brought his 3 kids, so it may not last that long.
McCourty party of 10.
I may be putting his kids. McCourty party of 10.
Party of 10.
That's gross.
The 5-month is the only one holding us back. He can't walk, he can't talk.
Yeah.
But he smiles a lot.
Party of 10.
Sounds fun.
Oh.
We go full court with
Babysitters, hit us up. Man, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Double Coverage.
Especially, a special episode. Look, we ain't got the best technology down here or anything.
Yeah.
We not usually together, so we had to wing it a little bit. Shout out to production crew.
Mocha Media.
We moved stuff around. We angled. We did a lot. So appreciate you guys watching this one today.
Definitely. As you guys know, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, make sure you go on, you hit that subscribe button. Check us out on social media at the McCourty Twins. We will see you guys.
Mama, we made it!
My background will still be sunny. His will probably be
snowy. But if we playing in the snow, we playing in big games, baby.
Check us. We'll see you guys later.
Go Pats.